So in the UK, I had everything optimized from the food, my routine, what time I woke up, what time I went to sleep. I even had two different workspaces, one for before lunch, so the deep workspace, which is my main like desktop area. And then after that, I would go downstairs to have a reading sort of space. I also had the near perfect diet. This diet had steak, eggs, rice, chickpeas, turmeric, and a lot of olive oil. That was mainly what I ate, and then of course some days I just had to eat whatever my mom cooks me. Every day was amazing. Every day was very, very like smoothly going. Every day seemed to give me this success feeling that we all like love when when you complete something, accomplish something, like fully finish it, that type of feeling, or when you win at something. I got that feeling every single day. However, it was until I flew back to Malaysia to visit my family for 2 months. And I'm in Malaysia right now, as you can see, with this giant mosquito net that wasn't there in one of my previous recordings. But as soon as I flew back here, got driven back home, ate some amazing Malaysian food, and I sat in my chair over there where I do my main deep work of reading, etc. I realized that there was a whole bunch of stuff that needed to change. A whole bunch of like a whole different time schedule, a whole different diet type of thing, because everything is different here. If you think about it, it makes sense why everything's different. It's a whole complete different side of the world. You're with all of your family members who are just like, they don't really care. They just come in and out the house. There's noise everywhere. There's light, and like the wall, literally, there's a window on my wall, even though my room is literally in the house. So literally, if anyone just talks beside my wall, it will literally slap me out of focus. That's how bad it is. And as I was writing pages and pages of what I could change, what time I should wake up, and experimenting with different things, of course days would go by for me to literally just see how everyone moves. When my uncles go to work, when whoever does this at what time. And then I can finally formalize my master like routine, if you get what I mean. So in this video, I'm going to cover all of the little variables. If you're visiting your family, if you're, let's say, I think this applies to absolutely everyone. If you're a young, like ambitious man on self-improvement, like I am, and you've been suggested to go visit your family, and you are going to visit your family, going to some other country or just some faraway place away from your like natural habitat of working. This video will cover everything, all of the little checks for you to like instantly, almost instantly, as fast as possible, get back on track, so that you can actually spend those valuable times where you don't have to think about work anymore because you finished your work for the day, so that you can actually spend quality time with your family. Just picture this. If you go to your family's house, let's say you go to your grandma's house for 2 weeks, would it not be better if you woke up early, finished all of your work all of your majority like hard work for the day, and then you spend time with them? Because all of that works out of your brain now, and you can actually give your 100% presence to your grandma and actually like show her grandson. I hope you get what I mean. Because if you literally don't work or anything, if you have this ambitious drive in you, you will think about work. It will be in the back of your mind. And when you're talking to your grandma, exchanging like jokes and whatever, you won't be there 100% because you'll still be thinking of work. So I won't waste your time anymore. Number one is headphones. Any headphones you can find. I know this sounds pretty simple. Obviously you need headphones. you need headphones because honestly, you need headphones because specifically for my circumstances, all of these tips are from my circumstance. Every 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 time someone even just utters a little bit of a word when they walk past my room, I can hear it vividly. So that's why I need like big bulky headphones. And I honestly tried AirPods, but I just have this little like tick in my brain that says AirPods aren't really good for you long term. EMF signals. I know it's very like overthinking type of thing, but that's beside the point. You need big bulky headphones. Noise cancelling. Now noise cancelling, I think generally that would be okay. That would be the best option in this scenario. But I did hear something from Andrew Huberman which said that young children or just children in general exposed to long like exposure of white noise is actually bad. I think how noise cancelling works is like a level of white noise, I'm pretty sure. Number two is a very, very quiet dark space. You can achieve this by either one, in the early mornings or the late nights. I would personally choose the early mornings. Now you need this because there is an instant change that you can feel. If you ever had a very, very noisy environment to work in, and then you experience change to this silent, dark space. This change should be dramatic for you. You should feel, at least I felt, an insane amount of like creativity and brain flow back into my system. My specific example was when it was late night, around 8 or 9 o'clock. Everyone's watching TV now, everyone's back home, everyone's relaxing. TV's literally right outside my door, and so obviously I hear it the most. But as soon as the last of my uncle goes back in his room, switches off the TV, switches off the light even, a dramatic shift occurs. This shift, like, it made me feel more serotonin or some chemical, some feel-good chemical that made me like get more creative things out. It genuinely did. Like, it felt like there was less stress almost. So find one of those moments for yourself, because these are the hours that you'll find that the most like insightful things from your subconscious brain if you're journaling, and probably the most focused times you can ever be. Number three is more of a sort of Asian countries tip. If you're living in a Southeast Asian country, specifically, to visit your family, you'll notice that a lot of the times, if it's specifically a poorer country, you are more likely to get takeaway. And now this takeaway is not exactly the best for your testosterone. And I'll explain why. This takeaway is literally in plastic. If you want to find out more, you can literally just search up like Malaysian takeaway, because that's literally what I'm talking about here. Most of the Southeast like countries like Thailand, Indonesia, all of these countries use this type of takeaway. And it's literally a bag, a plastic bag. If you're having something like soup or noodles, they will put it in a plastic BPA powdery type of feeling bag for you. So what can you do to avoid this? You can because there is a simple solution to avoiding this. The one solution is get a steel takeaway box, a steel takeaway container, And honestly, if you have any doubts about this steel container for takeaway, if you've ever sat down at any of these like tiny stools which people go to take away from the food, you'll notice that there are some people with their like little cars come around with their little like steel containers. So it's completely normal for you to do that if you're living in a southeast country. It is a huge benefit other than plastic, because literally, bro, if you think about it, this is the deepest and the worst about estrogenic thing you can get. This is like literally the worst thing. Like a full-on powdery bag with your noodles inside of it. Even worse with your soup, and that soup is hot, making it even more estrogenic. Simply use a steep. It's honestly so easy, just invest in a steel container. Now for number 4, this is a very useful tip. This, I don't think anyone has ever mentioned this before. It's such a niche tip that if you have this problem, I may have just like solved it for you for your entire life. And that is that how to settle your family's doubts. How to settle your family's friends' doubts even. What I mean by this is, let's say you haven't seen your family's friends in a while. Let's say you've gone a long distance and of course your mom or your uncle or your grandmother has some friends that come over and visit. Now they all have this old perception of you. This old, disgusting image of who they think you are. Because maybe you visited them 3 years beforehand and you were this loser, fat, chubby, jerking off kid. So how do you go about correcting that? How do you go about shifting their brains to the new version of yourself? To the Chad version of yourself? You actually don't. You might think it is to give them all of your knowledge on self-improvement, to say everything out loud that you've done, that you've learned. That is not the way. Although you may find the results from that, although they may be like, oh, you've really matured, that is not the way, because you've essentially given out your soul. You've let them know everything. If you've ever, it's hard to explain this without you like feeling what it feels like to give out every single information just to get a little bit of respect. That's how I felt. It feels like almost something extracted from here. It doesn't as soon as you finish your paragraph of literally just self-description of everything you've done, how amazing you are, you lose a bit of your wholeness. It feels like it's empty here. And that is a bad feeling. And there's bad consequences from doing this. So what to do instead? What you have to do instead is give them a little bit. Give them a little bit of the like core foundations like of yourself maybe 2 months ago. So not your current self. Tell them about like, oh, I've quit video games. Oh, I've quit watching Netflix. I've quit watching anime. Tell them about these things. And even better, if you've been hitting gym, show them that you're not this chubby guy anymore. Show them that you've grown and you've grown muscles. Show them. But not too much. And I should have mentioned this beforehand. All of your like mum's friends or your family's friends, they may chat about you. They may gossip about you. They may have this like little bad energy towards you. They may call you like, oh, why is he just like stuck at home? Why is he not going out to a restaurant to waste his life away to like gain experience in a pointless fucking job washing dishes? All of these people have all of these mothers' friends, all of these families' friends you have to realize they don't know you. If they knew you, they would bow down to you. They would bow down to how much of a child prodigy you are, sort of, in a weird way. Now, I'm just naming all of these examples from my experience. Getting called to do pointless jobs, saying, oh, why is he just stuck at home? Even though I've like hit the gym so much that I can literally wring out all of their corpses. I can literally rip their spine in half. And they still throw these pointless comments at me. But you have to realize that you shouldn't hate these people, because they are only doing what they're doing because they're worried for your mum or your family, whoever they're friends with, whoever they have their connections to them and then to you with. They're only worried for your mum. They're only worried for your mum. That is why they are questioning you. That is why they are like pushing you to do what they think is right, but you know it isn't right. Number 5 is invest in high quality water. As this is another tip, especially for Southeastern Asian countries. You'll find that maybe your home has this water filter. Maybe it's if you inspected the carbon filters, if you're very like health specific, like careful about your health like I am, you'll have analyzed the filters of like what is actually in the water filter. There's like pre-carbon, there's like reverse osmosis, all of those things. However, through further research, I found out that the water we were drinking has no minerals in it. It had no magnesium, all of these little like, if you've ever gotten a bottled water, you'll see that there's like a sodium, like magnesium, whatever on the side. There is none of that in the machine. And so that, without the minerals, what it does, for a simple explanation from like a 16-year-old, 15 seconds explanation, it takes out all of the minerals from your body instead of giving you minerals because it has no minerals. It takes it out of you, and then basically that is like the electrolytes that gives you energy, and then you just feel like terrible overall. So invest in what I have. I kind of have to take an L with the plastic because there's not really big jars of glass like water bottles. Big jar of natural mineral water, and every time I want it, just pour it out in a cup, drink it. Instead of that no mineral deficient water that would actually take minerals out of you. Number 6 is actually another thing I've briefly mentioned with you so far. This tip is to practice full presence with your family. How you can do this is honestly just finish your work early in the morning. Like work until maybe 1 or 2, and then spend full presence with your family, because you're only going to spend that much time with them because you've gone a long way to this area to visit your family, long distance. So it would be better for you to spend 100% of you with them instead of you thinking a little bit of work and maybe you're spending like 50% of your true self with them. You can avoid this by just doing deep work, just doing the most important task for the day, and that will like basically take away all of the background thoughts. This tip is actually something I learned from the book A Way of the Superior Man. It's somewhere over there, or maybe it's on my bed, but honestly, read that book if you have the chance. It's pretty life-changing. Number 7 is for if you are in a country or in a place that doesn't have fresh milk, what to do. There's a very simple solution, but it isn't the best. Obviously, if you have fresh, like unprocessed, non-estrogenic, pure, like cold pressed almost milk, straight from the cow, no homogenized, no pasteurized, none of that. If you don't have fresh, straight from like the utters, non-estrogenic, organic milk, if you're not in a place like that, then maybe it is better for you to use protein powder as a sort of milk replacement. Now, obviously, you can say the protein powder is also estrogenic. The benefit of this is it's like a sort, you know the exercise of like, would you rather kill 4 people on a train track, or like the doctor? This is like, I forgot what the term is called. It's like the efficient person's mindset. The efficient person's mindset. I've applied the efficient person's mindset to the milk scenario. And I think the benefits outweigh the terrible cons of the conventional milk. To just use protein powder, it's basically just, if you ever had powdered milk, it's basically just that. Instead, you're getting more protein. Now, the last and final tip of number 8 is get yourself supplements. If you're once again far away, you may be eating only a few of the nutrients your body truly needs. Especially if you're once again in one of these decrepit countries like I am. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said decrepit, but decrepit as in nutrient deficient. Of course, the food's delicious, whatever, but it is a little bit nutrient deficient. Like, it's a majority carbohydrates and a little bit of protein, with especially noodles and the soup. So I'm going to recommend some supplements that I have been taking and some that I'm going to be taking. These supplements will hopefully make up for the deficient diet, because maybe you're eating around the same cuisine every single day. So number 1, it's vitamin D3 plus K2. This is by far the most important nutrient, or vitamin, I guess you could say, for yourself. This will boost your testosterone and make sure you can actually work on a functional level, so that you don't have like low motivation and brain fog type of thing. Number 2 is fish oil, or more better version of fish oil is probably cod liver oil. In Malaysia, I couldn't find cod liver oil, so I just had to go with fish oil. A lot of the time with this nutrients, maybe you can't find the best vitamin, maybe you can't find the best supplement, but just find the best in the country. Maybe you can't find the best, the micrograms of vitamin E isn't right, it isn't proportional to vitamin K. Find the best, because eating a multivitamin that isn't the best is better than not eating one at all. But just make sure it's safe, make sure that the dosages aren't like skyrocketing. Just make sure the dosages of like the vitamin, oh my god. Let's make sure the dosages of the vitamins aren't like skyrocketing. Oh my god. Just make sure the vitamins dosages aren't skyrocketing higher than anything like else that they're paired with. Just make sure it is safe. And actually, yeah, the third one is a multivitamin that I just briefly mentioned there. And number 4, the last and final one, is an electrolyte drink. You have to invest in these, especially if you're in a hot type of area. If you're doing a lot of exercise and when you wake up, you're going to need this drink called an electrolyte drink. You can buy this through like the conventional Element, LMNT. I don't know why I'm like shouting it out, but the point of it is it's an electrolyte drink that will, how do I explain this to you? Electrolyte is something you need. It's something like, it's basically salts and like all of the basic minerals of magnesium, all of those type of things that you need, that you are depleted with, especially when you sweat it out. When you sweat it out, when you're like just in the morning of just waking up. Technically, if you think about it, if you're sleeping, you're fasting. And so you need this electrolyte still. bounce it back into your brain so that you actually have energy. So don't invest in element. Be a man and battle the taste of, I think, oysters. Get some Himalayan salt, pink Himalayan salt, and half of a lemon with some natural mineral water in the morning. Squeeze the lemon in, put a pinch of pink Himalayan salt in the water, stir it up, drink it. It will taste, honestly, if you've ever eaten oysters with lemons, it will taste like that. But just be a man and like gobble it down, because it is good for you. And I think that's all I wanted to say for this video. I could have released a video yesterday, but honestly, I just got back from Japan, the best 2 weeks trip of my life. I'll explain that more in detail in another video, but thanks for watching, bro. In a bit.